Welcome to the Globe Economy podcast. My name is Tuan, the founder of Globes Media, and this podcast is where I sit down with the founders, creators, and the women shaping the future of beauty and culture. We talk presence, identity, story, and the systems behind influence. If you're building a brand, a body of work, or a world of your own, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the Globe Economy. Welcome to the Globe Economy podcast. My name is Tuan, and today I'm here with Katie, who's a fitness model, ICN athlete, and you also have the one Best Athlete of Korea, which is kind of wild.
Yes.
And you also run Carrot Cartel, which is a welfare-focused pet brand, right? Which is
Yes.
a completely different world, which
Just a
is kind of cool.
sidekick.
Yeah.
Because I have 5 rabbits at home, so
Yeah.
and most of them are foster rabbits, so
Yeah.
so that's important to me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, one thing is like, you got like a lot going on paper, but what I'm actually really interested to dive into is, what did it take to become the version of yourself, right?
Yes.
So, Katie, great to have you. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I used to be quite overweight.
Mm-hmm.
At my absolute heaviest I was 120 kilos.
Yep.
And it was just after I had my son that I decided. So my son's just he's about to turn 5.
Mm-hmm.
I I figured that I was okay to be at the weight that I was, but I sort of looked at him and thought, it's not fair on him. He needs a mum that's gonna be able to play with him, gonna be able to do all the things that he wants to do. And then what happens later on in his life when, kids start to, you know, um, make comments and tease him for my poor decisions. So I decided to kind of lose that weight, and then from there I gained that motivation to then compete. And then of course my son watched me do that, and so I wanted to inspire him to be whatever you want to be. And so that's kind of a route I chose. So
That's really interesting.
yes.
It's funny when you think of change, right? A lot of people don't usually, something needs to be almost put upon them, or something needs to come from within, right? And sometimes externally motivated. And so yours kind of interesting is that the change that happened came from the fact that you wanted to, in order to show up the best for your child, that you actually embody that change first within yourself. Would that
Yeah.
be the main core driver, or?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I always thought was what happens one day at school pickup, and kids can be cruel. What happens one day if someone goes, oh, Flynn, there goes your fat mum. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I don't. That's not fair. That's not fair on him. So it really did come from wanting to be the best for my son, the best version of myself.
Yeah.
So, and through that, now he says things like, when are you going to go off on stage again? When are you going to compete again?
Yeah.
So, and he would come up on stage with me after the mums round, and he loved it. He loves telling people that mummy was at this moment, a bodybuilder, mum's really strong, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gone through that journey, right? To now. If I was to meet if it was like a previous version of you,
Yes.
what would you have not liked people to have noticed or see?
I So if you're going back to the bigger Katie type thing, is that what you're referring to?
Before your before your bodybuilding
Transformation.
Yeah.
I definitely was a bit embarrassed and shy about my weight, but it wasn't enough to motivate me to change. I didn't want, of course I was embarrassed and shy about it, but now fast forward to when I was on stage, and I just can't get enough of it. I love a chance to show off people think it's something like a thirst trap, or you're just trying to look hot and stuff. No, it's not that at all. I'm proud of how far I've come, and I'm proud of my success. And I spent 10 plus years hiding myself. It's time to show off and be proud of my achievements.
Yeah. and it comes from a much deeper place,
Mm,
because for a lot of people, um, it's a funny thing with the fitness journey is you could only last so long and so far and play the long game if it comes from a deeper reason of
mm.
making that line saying, hey, I'm no longer going to shrink myself. I'm going to, like, I'm going to show up for myself and for everyone around me. When it becomes about the more superficial things, like, yeah,
Mhm.
like, especially when you're younger, you can sort of like get to going for a little
Yes.
bit, but it's like adrenaline, or it's like, I guess, pre-workout, but then it's like it just sort of comes down.
Yes.
But it's got to be
Yeah.
a fuel that like kind of like
Yes.
prolongs you through the
Yes.
entire journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess then kind of diving into your fitness bodybuilding prep journey, what's
Mhm.
something that I guess people on the outside, when they're looking in, what's something they wouldn't necessarily always realize when they're sort of observing?
Well, I don't openly say to people like I used to be this big, but they don't see the journey that
Hmm.
I've been on. They just sort of see this final person, this
Mm,
final production. They think that I was always athletic in high school. I was always fit. I was always healthy. I was always, and I wasn't.
mm,
I wasn't
mm,
always that. And people just assume that that was always me,
mm.
but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
And they don't know the journey until I decide to, open that side up to them. But really people don't always see that, and people don't always know the transformation I've been on. So they just kind of assume that I was always a bit of a gym rat, when actually I used to look at fitness models and things and think to myself, I'd rather swallow razor blades than do that. Like, oh my God, like I could not do
Yeah.
that, that looks so, why would you want to do that type thing? And now I obviously have changed my thinking a lot around that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't think that would ever be something I'd be interested in,
Yeah.
but it's changed my life.
Yeah.
So
And but just going back on that, so
yeah.
why exactly was that? Like you think, oh, I probably would never do that. What was, I guess, going through your mind?
Well, I was always a bigger girl, and
Yeah.
the gym never interested me. And I always thought everyone that went to the gym was like up themselves and whatnot. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like, why would you want to do that? So it's completely changed my line of thinking.
Yeah. And just going through the motion and sort of like going through the journey, would you probably say you kind of, it sort of it changed the way you thought about that? And as a result of that, do you feel like it changed the relationship that you had with
Yeah.
yourself and your body, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have learned how to respect my body more, and how to um um definitely, what's the word, like just being able to respect my body and being able to understand the impacts of the food I'm putting into it,
Hmm.
and what I'm actually putting into my body. That's definitely changed a lot for me, and now
Yeah.
I make much better decisions. I'm able to help my son to make better decisions
Yeah.
about his eating, and yeah, I it's changed a lot.
You mentioned, like, say, down to even the habits and the lifestyles and what kind of food you decide to put into your body to nourish yourself. Do you think like that also increase your standards and boundaries for how you deal with things and situations in life in general? Or
Yes, I definitely have. It's a tough question, actually. um, I think that it's I've actually made a lot of changes,
yeah.
not just with that, but I've become Buddhist and whatnot. And so through my Buddhism, I've learned like how to manage situations, and how to control myself,
Hmm.
and how to like understand and navigate my emotions
Hmm.
with certain things.
Yes. How did the Buddhist journey come about? Like,
I was Christian for ever since I was in school. That was
yeah.
kind of what um the school was teaching us. Lutheran Christianity.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years have been probably the hardest 2 years of my life, which is why I've had to step away from the stage,
Hmm.
just to get myself back on track. But I separated from my husband, and we sold, our dream home, and just so many major changes took part in, at one time, and I didn't know how to navigate it all. And then I came along, meditation and breath work,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I can really appreciate. And then I sort of started to read up on Buddhism, and how Buddhists understand life and how they navigate life.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk a lot about how life is suffering,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all about how you can change the way you think in order to um navigate through that without being affected negatively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um so I took a lot of those readings on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really helped me navigate my way through this tough time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made some other changes, like I'm now vegetarian,
Yeah.
and slowly but surely cutting back down on those bad habits and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really changed my life again.
Yeah.
I feel like we go through many cycles in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So yeah, it has
Yeah.
taught me how
Yeah.
I can navigate
Yeah.
without being too badly affected, like in a in a positive way. We can, navigate through the changes of life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's really interesting. And you go through those different iterations of yourself, and you just keep like every new sort of thing you sort of like you just learn something new about yourself, and you sort
hmm
of like
hmm
shed the skin and just like learn
yeah,
those things down.
doesn't matter how old you are, you're always learning.
That's right. That's always a good reminder there. I think there's like two sides here, yeah? Like you got like the disciplined, structured side, right? Then there's also another side of you, I feel, which is like the carrot cartel part, like the kind of the soft, playful,
Yeah.
nurturing like
Yep.
side.
Yep.
Which one do you feel is which one do you feel is like you
I
or
kind
you?
of use I'm like I kind of swap and change them depending on the situation. At the
Yeah.
moment, I think I've got this soft and playful because I'm trying to be thankful for the things that I have. At the moment, I feel as though I'm a little bit stuck and can't apply myself in it. And I'd like to get back into competing, but at the moment, with my current situation,
Mhm.
I'm not able to
Uh,
just yet.
yeah. Yeah.
But, I can practice, kindness to animals. I can practice, um, my love for, animals,
Yeah.
which is also again ties in with the Buddhism, the
Yeah.
Buddhist teaches, against killing, and shows kindness towards all animals
Hmm.
and plants.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I can use, whichever side to my advantage. Obviously I work in a bit of a male dominated industry in
Hmm.
in mining,
Hmm.
so sometimes I need to pull out that strong discipline side of me
Yeah.
when I need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
sort of swap and change when I feel suits.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel like both sides sort of pull you in different directions, or do you feel like they kind of
no,
integrate really
never.
well?
Yeah, I think you can be both.
Yeah,
I think you can absolutely have both sides
yeah,
um
yeah,
intertwining into one personality.
yeah,
I'm also a Gemini, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. The twin, one twin is like the
yeah,
fire, the other twin is, the soft.
yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah, yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting. You what's one thing that I suppose people wouldn't necessarily they'll be a bit surprised at by as in what's something that people wouldn't necessarily know just from looking at your Instagram?
um, I think people are quite shocked that um I do what I do for a living. I have worked in mining for almost 10 years now. So
Yeah,
I'm 29 years old. So I'm
yeah,
pretty proud of that. And
mm,
I'm actually in corporate now. So I've sort of slowly but surely climbed my way into that position.
mm,
I think a lot of people are quite shocked by that. They usually think that I'm just some Instagram model and that's how I make my money, whereas I make very little money through Instagram,
mm,
if
mm,
any.
mm.
But people are really shocked when they find out what I do for an actual living,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is not something I openly express too much on my Instagram because I believe that my career and my Instagram and my social life should be maintained separately.
So you think on that side then, Instagram sort of allows you to express a side of you which other sides which you don't necessarily get to express in other
Yes.
ways, or
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Because, unfortunately, some people can look at the bikini modeling side and think straight away sexual tones, So that's one of the reasons why I very much keep my competing and my Instagram very separate to my career is because some people simply think it's inappropriate, you know. Um, and I never want to make anyone feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So I find it liberating to be able to go on my Instagram and post, pretty well what I want and be proud of myself
Mm.
because if people don't like it, they can unfollow.
Yeah.
Um I'm very proud of who I've become and I want to show that off and Instagram, gives me that chance, that platform to be able to do so.
If you could say who you're becoming now, would you say that you are becoming the person that you
Want to be.
always want to be?
Um I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Still very much so. I would like to work. I have a lot to work on.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form,
Mm.
and I would like to still understand and learn how to navigate through certain situations. Um, I think that I have a long way to go, but I think that I'm on the right sort of path.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
just going to take time, like all things. I think
Yeah.
to get myself back up to, um, you know, where I want to be mentally.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that process in some interesting way, like even if you never leave, even if uh, after the stage, after the show, after prep, do you still feel like life in some ways is a process of prep, a process of getting your mind together, a process of, I
Yeah.
suppose,
I th-
humbling ourselves constantly and so on?
yeah, I think so. I think you have to be in the way, like the correct, um, I think your head's got to be in the game to be able to compete. Like otherwise you're pushing shit uphill essentially. Sorry for swearing. Um, I think that I think definitely you've got to have your head in the game and
Yeah.
I think that, life is always going to throw curveballs at you.
Yep.
So, yeah, to some degree, it is very much a process of uh, preparation. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think people feel? Do you think some people feel maybe intimidated by you when they see Instagram?
um, I think so. I have had that before.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't mean to come across as a negative intimidation, perhaps a motivation.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I do think so,
Yeah.
but I hope that it's taken from a positive place.
If there was one thing you could tell a younger version of Kaylee, what would you tell her?
That's a hard one because there's so many things. Um, there's so many things I'm thinking of right now that I'd love to tell myself, things about self-love and respecting yourself.
Yeah.
Um, know your worth. Know your
Mm.
worth because so many people they end up in situations, whether it be a an abusive relationship or you know they're abusing their own self, their own body, because they simply don't know their worth. They need to know that they are worthy of better.
Mm.
They are worthy of good things, amazing things.
Mm.
um so that is definitely something I would absolutely tell a younger version of myself. Know your worth.
Beautiful. And from knowing your worth, do you feel that
decisions and trajectories and things completely change when it starts from there.
Yeah, absolutely. If I, you know, down to the way I get treated by people at work, or, you know, through anything, just when I meet new people, am I worthy of this treatment? You know, am I worthy of this,
Yeah.
of this person? Am I like, you know, it sounds a little bit, I don't mean to sound up myself, but I think that we should all understand and respect ourselves,
Yeah.
you know, and be cautious of who you're bringing into your life, what you're projecting to yourself, you know, what you're seeing on social media, what you're putting into your body, down to that, you know. It's all about respecting yourself, knowing your worth.
Love that. If anyone who wants to follow along with you on your journey, where can they find you?
So I've got just my Instagram, katie.perryman. And then you can find me Instagram.
Love that. I'll drop it in the show notes.
Thank
this has been a really, really good conversation. Really thankful for you for opening up and sharing, you know, your journey so far and the lessons and insights that you've been on.
Yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. Thank you for being part of my journey.
Love that. All right. This has been Tuan, the Global Economy, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Glow Up Economy podcast. If this conversation landed with you, then share it with someone in your world who's building their own glow. And if you want to explore these stories deeper, then you can find the full features and the spotlights at theglowupeconomy.com underneath the spotlight, the magazines, and the podcast show notes. My name is Tuan, and this is the architecture of modern feminine power. And we'll see you in the next episode.